Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Back with a brand new review for all of you. Over the past week, we had the Fantastic Four First Steps film release in theaters. I'm going to give you my spoiler free take on that movie as well. Talk about if there's any credit scenes and all that good stuff. We know it's an MCU movie, so there are credit scenes, but how many credit scenes is what we'll talk about. Again, spoiler free. I just overall general thoughts of what we've seen from Marvel this year, movie wise, and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you coming over here to hang out with me, man. Without further ado, let's jump into this with the synopsis and details. There is your lovely poster. The Fantastic Four First Steps is rated PG-13 for some language, action, and violence. Film runs in at 1 hour 55 minutes, so just a shade under 2 hours. So 2 hours 30 minutes. How much time is spent in the theaters there? It's classified as an action, adventure, sci-fi, fantasy movie. The film is set against the vibrant backdrop of a 1960s inspired retro futuristic world. Fantastic Four First Steps introduce Marvel's first family: Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, and Ben Grimm the Thing as they face their most daunting challenge yet. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strengths of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic herald Silver Surfer. And if Galactus' plan to devour the entire planet and everyone on it wasn't bad enough, it suddenly gets very, very personal. So that is your long synopsis for the Fantastic Four there, man. So going into this movie, I was pretty Jones, pretty excited to go into the movie, to be honest with you, because coming off of Thunderbolts, I love Thunderbolts a lot, and I enjoy Marvel movies a good bit. And I've seen the pieces of the trailer stuff that I've seen for this movie. Like I was into it, set in the '60s. I like that idea, I like that style and all that, and just wanted to see how that was going to fit. A little different than what we've seen Marvel wise before. We're going to a different time period and all that good stuff. So I was like, cool. I'm into it. I can't wait to see what they do with that. I have no real connection to the other Fantastic Four movies that came out early 2000s, right? The Jessica Alba, Chris Evans Fantastic Four movies. I've seen bits and pieces of those movies. Haven't really seen the movies themselves. Haven't really sat down to watch them. And then I did see the Fantastic Four movie with Michael B. Jordan in it, which a lot of people don't like, and I'm in that same boat with you. That is a pretty bad movie, but that is my only connection to the Fantastic Four. So going into this movie, not really worried about comparing it to other things or anything like that. It was just fresh take Rob going in here. Nothing to really compare it to as far as the other movies go. Again, just all clips. So I was kind of pretty Jones going into the movie and all that stuff. So my experience going into it, you've watched the movie, getting into it and seeing how it started off, and like they can talk around yourself, not spoiling anything. It was not an origins movie, even though it's the first time we're seeing them in the MCU. But they took the chance that most people would understand the Fantastic Four's origin story and all that stuff, which is pretty, easy to remember. Even somebody who hasn't, been connected to it and all that stuff. I know how it all worked out, right? So they give you like callbacks. They do some callbacks in this movie, or flashback scenes, if you will, and stuff like that throughout the movie. A couple of times, kind of give you the origin story and how this is there and all that stuff and all that, which is fine. Again, kind of helps you if you don't know the origin story and all that stuff, but it doesn't, fall into the whole origin story overall and all that. And throughout the film, we kind of see the family dynamic and how it all works out, which is kind of one of the good pieces of this movie. I like the way that we got to see all the characters kind of interact with each other throughout the movie. Obviously, had to clear my throat there and pause it so I didn't cough on you. But obviously, Reed and Sue, they're married, they're a couple. Reed and Johnny are siblings and all that stuff. Um, Reed and Ben are buddies and all that stuff. So we know their dynamics and all that. And it was cool to see kind of all of them interact with each other, like to see Reed and Johnny spend time together, or see, the connection between Sue and Ben and all that stuff. It's cool stuff to see, man. And I like how they worked all that out throughout the movie and how they played off of that and all that stuff. What I will say about this movie is that it may hit a lot of people on. I've kind of seen this through other people talking about it on like X and stuff like that. Is, some people have found the movie a little boring. And I think a lot of that drives from the aspect that it is a very dialogue heavy movie. So for me, like, it doesn't really bother me all that much. Like, I'm fine with dialogue movies. I mean, the majority of Kevin Smith movies are dialogue movies, and I enjoy all those. I mean, there's other superhero movies. I mean, Superman recently had a good bit of dialogue in it, but a lot of action stuff going on in that movie. The Batman a couple of years ago, very, dialogue heavy, driven stuff. There is action and good action scenes in it, but it's mostly a dialogue movie because you're doing discovery investigation. That's kind of what we're doing in this movie. Is we're trying to, the mystery aspect of who is this Silver Surfer, who is this Galactus, trying to figure out, you know, what they're doing here to try to find a connection to how they're getting within the ultimate goal of Galactus, and figuring out how to battle that and what the plan shape would be all around that stuff. Again, talking around myself, not spoiling anything, but that's kind of most of the movie is just figuring out how to move these pieces and what pieces to put here and all that stuff, which kind of reads character. He's like one of the smartest people alive. Believe the smartest person in the MCU. Don't hold me on that, but I believe he is. um so it's a lot of that stuff, and then we already know, if you've seen the trailers and all that stuff, they're going to have a kid, and the scariness of having a child and bringing that in here while you have Galactus coming around and all that stuff. You're the only heroes in this earth and all that. So it deals with all those dynamics, which are very good points. But I can see the aspect where people are calling it boring, because I did in fact doze off, more than once during the movie. And I wasn't tired at all going into the movie. Like, I was wide awake going into that movie. Like, again, I was kind of excited to see the movie and all that stuff. And there was times where I just dozed off. Like it just happened, man. Like, it wasn't connecting with me in that way on those scenes. Now, stuff that did connect with me that I thought was really cool. Galactus looks awesome. Like, anytime you get to see Galactus on screen, like, that was cool. I remember Galactus. I remember dozing off and then saw Galactus. I'm like, oh, hey, wait a minute. There's Galactus. Let's see what's going on here. Silver Surfer was really cool, and seeing, the action scenes involving Silver Surfer and Johnny Storm, which you kind of see in the trailers. Like, cool stuff. And that's another thing. Like, most of the stuff you see in the trailers, kind of like most of this movie without the dialogue aspects of it. Like, you've seen most of the movie in the trailers without, like certain obvious things. But like, the action scenes are good and all that stuff. I think, the CGI is okay-ish. There are definitely issues. It surprised me earlier today when Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm, posted that there was a real baby, because that didn't look like a real baby at all. So I will believe her, though. She was on set. I was not. But that baby does not look real. And I remember coming out of the movie and, like, I guess babies are hard to CGI in movies, because look back at the Flash film, and it was like, those CGI babies did not look good in that movie. So, and it was this thing, but maybe it was the baby around, um, the Thing, because the Thing obviously is a lot of CGI in there as well. So I don't know. That baby didn't look real, but apparently the baby was real. So we'll leave it at that. But the CGI is okay. Like, the action stuff's fine. Johnny Storm's fire stuff looks good and all that. The Invisible Woman's powers look good and all that stuff. Like, they look good. The stretching even looks fine until they show Pedro's face, and then it's like, it's like, very cartoonish, very obvious CGI and all that stuff. So it's obviously he's a stretching and all that. So it's a freaking superhero movie. We're going to give them a leadway on a lot of things, but those are parts you're going to run into as far as CGI and how the CGI looks and all that stuff. Again, Galactus looks amazing. Silver Surfer looks awesome. Invisible Woman stuff is all great. Like, the fire stuff with Johnny Storm is great. The Thing even looks okay. It seems like his mouth doesn't match up with the words at points in times, but that's whatever. The movie itself, though, was just kind of okay with me. Like, it wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything incredibly awesome and all that. Like, I don't think it's going to be a movie I'm going to rush back to ever watch again or anything like that. Like, it does what it needs to do. It introduces the Fantastic Four to everybody in the MCU and all that stuff. But it was a pretty meh movie. Overall, like, credit scenes, there are two credit scenes. There's a mid-credit scene and after credit scene. The mid-credit scene is the one that you're going to use to build up towards the next, obvious, bridge point to where they're going with the MCU. The last credit scene is like you know, a fun one, I guess you'll call it, or like an Easter eggy one, or whatever you want to call it. Nothing too important, just kind of a little thing that they throw at the end, which Marvel's done in their movies before. So nothing different really there. But overall, man, for a movie I was kind of excited about, I was kind of left, walking out there like, it was a movie. It was didn't it's not going to last on my mind or anything, especially kind of upsetting after coming off of Thunderbolts, which was incredible in my opinion. Fantastic movie. I felt, more connection to those characters in Thunderbolts than I felt with this movie. Again, they do a good job with the family dynamic and all that, but for the most part, it's kind of, the script could use work, the CGI could use work. Again, I dozed off several times during the movie, so it is what it is. That's my spoiler for the free thoughts, unbiased thoughts on the movie. Again, I loved Thunderbolts. I even liked Captain America: Brave New World a good bit earlier this year, but this movie didn't really click with me, which happens. Movies are extremely biased, or not biased, extremely, you know, it's based on whatever you're going to base it on, and they're can't think of the word I'm trying to freaking say here, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean when it comes to movies. It's subjective bias. Jeez, subjective is Not even close to the word I said the first time, but it's subjective. You know how you feel about movies. I know there's seen a lot of people on X that love the film. See a lot of people that agree with me on the movie that they fell asleep during it or that it wasn't really hitting with them and all that stuff. Like that's gonna happen with you for some things. Like, cast wise, I think Vanessa Kirby was fan flippin' I loved her. She's my favorite member of the cast. I think she did the best job in the movie. Obviously other than freaking. I'm trying to get their names right here. Let me pull this back up. Um, Ralph Ensign playing Galactus, fantastic. He posted some videos with like his face paint on and all that stuff, and he was wearing a suit, which surprised me. I thought that thing was all CGI, but there was practicality put in there. Practical stuff done there. Practicality, practical stuff, whatever. I don't care. This is how we do that stuff. And then Julia Garner being the Silver Surfer, this movie and all that stuff. She was awesome. Like she did a really good job as well. So there is good parts of the movie. There are bad parts of the movie. The bad, unfortunately, outweighs the good in my opinion. But like I said, it was a kind of left with a meh feeling after seeing the movie. So that is my thoughts on it overall. I did watch Happy Gilmore 2 over the weekend. I'm going to probably throw a review out for that later as well. But did I like that one more than Fantastic Four? Who knows? Who knows? But we'll probably talk about that later. But overall, that's my spoiler-free take on Fantastic Four: The First Steps. If you are, non-biased fan who isn't going to give every Marvel movie, every Pedro Pascal, and every Joseph Quinn thing glowing reviews, let me know your thoughts in the comments and all that stuff. Let me know how you felt about the movie. Again, I like Pedro. I don't really have an issue with Pedro Pascal. I meant to look up his stuff before doing the show, but like I don't think I've really ever watched anything with Pedro Pascal, and I've seen a lot of interviews with him. He's got a fun, bubbly personality. I saw him on Saturday Night Live. He did great on there. But as far as like his projects, like I don't know. I haven't watched The Last of Us yet. Um, I know he's in The Mandalorian, but like I watched 2 episodes of Mandalorian. I keep forgetting to watch it. That's just my reminder right there that I need to go back and watch The Mandalorian. I didn't watch that romantic movie he was just in. I haven't seen the other movie that just came out with him in it. He's got like 3 movies in theaters right now. Pedro Pascal's in a lot of stuff. And again, I don't dislike Pedro, but I wasn't really feeling his character. His character is kind of very annoying in this movie, which I think is Reed Richards' character in general. So he's probably doing a great job there, but it's just unlikable character in all honesty throughout the majority of that movie to me. Joseph Quinn, I know him from Stranger Things. I don't know anything else he's really done. I know the internet loves him. I don't fully know why, but I know the internet loves him. And nothing against him. I liked him as Eddie in Stranger Things as well. So I get, him, his, popularity that's come from Stranger Things. But again, really don't know anything else he's been in. I think he was in like a war movie that recently came out. Not 100% sure. And then who's playing the thing? The thing is Ebon Moss-Bachrach. He's from that cooking show, right? That I have not watched. I haven't seen anything a lot of these people are in. Obviously, I know who Vanessa Kirby is, but apparently he was in The Punisher. He's in Andor. I watched Andor. I don't remember him being in Andor. That's on me. No Hard Feelings. I saw that movie. Liked that movie. The Bear. This Bear is what I'm trying to think of. But yeah, that is that. But yeah, I mean, this is how this show works, man. I don't take myself seriously. I don't want anybody else to, worry about this show's professionalism. We're just doing the thing. He was in Game of Thrones. I did see him in Game of Thrones. I remember that. But he was in Wonder Woman 1984. We try to forget that movie happened. We try to forget that movie happened. See, I'm not a biased DC guy. I'll freaking tell the truth when the truth comes around. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent I still haven't seen. Equalizer 2. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. I just have not seen it. Like I have not. He's in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, apparently. I haven't seen that show either. Freaky Tales, I do have my list of things to watch. Like I'm gonna watch these movies he's done this year because he's in a lot of freaking movies this year. But I need to, yeah. Wow, completely forgot about Wonder Woman, 1984. Ooh, what a movie! Again, non-biased guy, non-biased person. I will tell you if I don't like a DC thing as well, and that movie was rough. I tried to like that movie. I tried. I probably put on a brave face for that one afterwards, but as the time's gone, oof, what a movie. All right, man. Anyways, this is not Wonder Woman reviews. This is Fantastic Four: First Steps. So overall, there are enjoyable things about the movie. It has a likability to it, but I think the negatives outweigh the positives in this movie. That I mentioned earlier and all that stuff. But again, I don't care if you're Pedro fan, Joseph Quinn fan, Marvel fan, whatever. Just throw your stuff in the comments. Let's, tell me how you thought about the movie, if you enjoyed it or not. Let's have a good time with this. But overall, for me, not the biggest fan of it. Thunderbolts is easily my favorite Marvel movie that came out this year. I'm excited to see where we go from here. Still, though, the credit scene did spark some interesting aspects. Wasn't great, but I get the idea what that credit scene was. Apparently, was directed by the Russos and all that stuff. So, I mean, you already knew it was going to be a connection to the next movie, just like Thunderbolts was. But what do we have next? Spider-Man, and then the Doomsday movie and Secret Wars. So there's some fun things coming up. I have no idea what this Spider-Man movie is going to be. Like, the Spider-Man movie is very randomly in place here, but we will see it nonetheless, and hopefully enjoyable. Hopefully it's enjoyable. I think I enjoyed the other Spider-Man movies. It's been a while. I've been removed for a while from those movies. I think I enjoyed them. There's a lot of discourse on the internet, which obviously happens all the time, where people all of a sudden don't like that movie. Dude, let me know in the comments as well. People all of a sudden don't like Deadpool and Wolverine either. I don't know what's going on with that. But nonetheless, that's going to be it for this review here, man. So overall thoughts, 2 credit scenes, spoiler free as possible for you, all there. It's all that stuff. Thunderbolts to me is the best movie of the year. Of the 3, I might be Thunderbolts, Captain America, and then this one. Honestly, like I felt better coming out of Captain America than I did for this movie. Nonetheless, who knows? But that's it. That's it. I know, obviously, it's my ranking, but none of that's going to do it for this review. Rambling on as always, as the train is always off the tracks on this show. But appreciate you joining in and watching this review. I will have more reviews for you as always. Also, check out the other things that I do on this page, the Wolfman Rob show, where we talk Halloween Horror Night stuff. That's ramping up with more information on the way. The video reveal for like one of those Universal mystery pack things. Go check that out, see who I got. But that's to do it for this episode. As always, like to remind you that you are important. Give yourself some peace, trust in yourself. I know the noise in your head can be very loud from time to time, but just ignore that noise and keep fighting for your goals and dreams, because they will come true for you. Just believe in yourself, because you're capable of incredible things. You do truly matter, man. So appreciate you taking the time to listen to this review here. If you do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, help the show do the things that other people find the show. That would be awesome. But nonetheless, appreciate your time and hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And as always, remember, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. If one only remembers, turn on that light. Talk to you all next time.